Thanks, Michael.
OK, let's go over to Nate. He's got some fantastic scientific news for us.
I certainly do. It's that time of the week, and this week the Loch Ness Monster has reared its head and reached back into the headlines. Sceptical? I am, and so is Chief Investigator at the Australian Skeptics, Richard Saunders, who joins me now from Sydney. Good morning, Richard. First of all, people might wonder why I would have a scientific skeptic on the show, because their mind might go to things like a climate skeptic. It's not the kind of flavour of skeptic you are, though, is it?
No, absolutely. Australian skeptics now for 40 years have followed the scientific method, the scientific research, and that's how we get to our opinions and our outlook. People like to call us debunkers, which is a bit unfair. We investigate. We don't try to debunk, we investigate. Or naysayers, or people who won't believe regardless. No, we follow the evidence. And in fact, for 40 years, we've had a huge cash prize available to anybody who can demonstrate any paranormal or supernatural claim whatsoever.
Just like water divining, we're actually having a look right now at some vision from, well, of people trying to find water under the ground, and that's something that still happens here in Australia, even though there is absolutely no scientific evidence for it, and it's something you've been keeping a close eye on as well.
Well, it's a classic. It's a classic of skepticism, and it was because of a water divining test in 1980 with James Randi, the famous magician who came to Australia, flown over by Dick Smith. And he tested water diviners. It sort of helped bring about the Australian skeptics. But this is a classic because it's something we can examine, we can test, we can look at, and we can demonstrate. This is a typical divining rod, and you can see that it moves quite easily. That's because I'm tipping my hand. And we've discovered that's what all diviners do. They tip their hand, but usually they're not aware of it and they think there's magical vibrations coming up from the ground. But again, if a water diviner or water dowser can show they can really do it, really find hidden objects or water, we have $100,000 for them. We investigate. We want to know if these things are true.
Because wouldn't it be, like, if there was any way this stuff could exist, it would be the most amazing thing and it would be all over it. And let's stay with water and something that would also be amazing, the Loch Ness Monster. Now, why are we talking about this again?
Again, it's a classic of skepticism. And people like to, they're quite mean to Australian skeptics, saying you skeptics don't want to believe in monsters and this sort of thing. It's called cryptozoology, the study of unknown creatures. Again, it's something that inspires us to look. There's reports of a strange monster in Loch Ness. Recently, a group of researchers have discovered that a fossil dating back some 100 million years of a plesiosaur from the Sahara could have lived in fresh water. And somehow this has now been brought up as news about the Loch Ness Monster. Well, anything to do with the Loch Ness Monster will sell papers, I guess. But decade after decade of careful examination of Loch Ness, including DNA and sonar, has failed to find the monster. But that shouldn't stop us looking, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm sure the Loch Ness Tourist Board love people coming to look for Nessie.
Indeed. And so the fun science, the good science, is that this plesiosaur might have been able to live in fresh water. It's not the first time we've seen animals move from marine environments into freshwater environments. So that would be really, really interesting. But you reckon still absolutely no evidence of any sort of Loch Ness Monster?
No, there's not. But again, it's wonderful folklore. It's part of our cultural heritage, things like the Loch Ness Monster and mysteries and stuff like that. And it inspires us, and it inspires science to keep looking, keep searching. But we must keep our feet on the ground, keep a level head, but really we want to see what's out there.
So if anyone wants a taste of your $100,000, Richard, what are they got to do?
Just Google Australian Skeptics. You'll see our page there which demonstrates how you can apply for our $100,000. If you can bend a spoon, if you can find water, if you can talk to the dead, if you can do anything paranormal, we're interested.
As am I. And look, if we can find it, I want to hear about it. Richard, thank you so much for joining us this morning from Sydney.
Thank you.